Many people think poverty is simply the absence of money, but in reality, it originates from mental patterns that sabotage success from the inside out. It's not the crisis, not the government, nor your birthplace or level of education that determines your destiny. What truly shapes your future is the way you think, how you act, and the decisions you make every day. True wealth doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your mind. Every choice you make and every habit you repeat, whether positive or negative, is charting the path of what you will experience tomorrow. If you're facing financial problems today, it doesn't mean you're destined to fail. It just means you haven't yet broken the patterns that keep you limited. The good news is that it's never too late to change. A single firm decision is enough to start turning the board in your favor. Discipline, continuous learning, and focused action have the power to break any cycle of scarcity. Success doesn't depend on luck or chance. It is the inevitable consequence of practicing the right habits consistently. Here's an uncomfortable truth that few want to accept. It's not the size of your salary that defines your prosperity, but how you manage what you already receive. This hard truth destroys the illusion that earning more will solve all your problems. If you can't manage 100, you won't know how to handle 1,000, 10,000, or 1,000,000. Money doesn't change anyone. It only amplifies who a person already is. If you are disorganized, it will magnify that disorganization. If you are disciplined, that discipline becomes a path to greater prosperity. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. True freedom is born when you master your impulses, face reality as it is, and act with determination. And that is exactly what you're going to learn here. The habits that keep anyone trapped in poverty, and how to remove them from your life once and for all. If this topic is already stirring something inside you, write in the comments. Today I choose to prosper, because every change begins with a decision, and yours can start right now. Before we begin, I just ask that you give this episode a like and subscribe to the channel so that this message reaches more people. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Spending more than you earn. This is the habit that binds you most tightly to poverty. And the worst part is that many times you're not even aware that you keep repeating it over and over. As soon as you receive money, it's already committed. Installments, credit cards, impulsive purchases. The result is living on the edge, with no savings, no safety cushion. In that scenario, a single unexpected event can make the whole house of cards collapse. But it's not your fault for thinking this was normal. From a young age, most of us were taught to consume, not to create. We were taught to impress, not to invest, to react emotionally to money instead of managing it strategically. The real problem is that this habit, which seems harmless, becomes an invisible prison. Every unnecessary subscription, every spontaneous meal, every object bought without need is like another grain of sand tipping the scale. At first it seems insignificant, but over time it accumulates and suffocates your freedom. What lies behind this pattern? A short-term mindset, immediate rewards, even if the price is stress at the end of the month. Many of us grew up hearing phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "rich people are corrupt." These ideas embed themselves in the subconscious as absolute truths. Gradually, you convince yourself that money is scarce, dangerous, or unattainable. That is the silent poison. Spending more than you earn isn't fate, it's the result of that mental programming. Now here's the good news. Everything learned can be unlearned. When you change the way you perceive money, the way it moves in your life changes too. The first step is simple. Observe your financial situation with complete honesty. Write down every expense, even the smallest ones. Do this for 30 days. No excuses, no omissions, no masks. You'll discover patterns, automatic purchases, expenses that add no value, small leaks draining your energy and peace of mind. At first you might think, this is exaggerated. But it's not. Writing down even a coffee isn't being stingy. It's gaining clarity. It's not about the coffee. It's about the habit it represents. Imagine a construction supervisor. Every day a little material disappears, a box of tiles here, some bags of cement there. Would you ignore it because it's small? or demand accountability so the project doesn't get compromised. Your financial life works the same way. Every detail counts. What seems minimal today could make the difference between stagnation and progress in a year. Transformation begins with that awareness, and change means choosing differently, delaying gratification, saying, "Not now, not because I can't, but because I'm choosing something bigger." Every time you save, even a small amount, you send a powerful message to your inner self. My future is worth more than my present impulse. Repeating that reminder day after day shapes who you are. Managing money is, in reality, learning to manage yourself. It's self-control, discipline, self-respect. Think carefully. The problem isn't how much you earn, it's how you spend. If today you consume everything you receive, tomorrow, even if you earn double, you'll remain the same, with nothing left over. More money doesn't equal more abundance, it equals more responsibility. And without control, any increase only inflates your lifestyle and multiplies debt. On the other hand, if you learn to plan, save, and use your resources purposefully, any income becomes enough to grow. Wealth doesn't come from how much comes in, but from how much stays, how much multiplies, and how wisely it's managed. At its core, poverty isn't just a lack of money, it's a lack of direction, order, and respect for your own future. The first step to transforming everything is eradicating this corrosive habit, spending more than you earn. When you decide to live below your means, you stop being a slave to the present and start becoming the architect of your future. Number 2, thinking small. One of the most deceptive habits that keeps people trapped in poverty is thinking small. At first glance, it may seem like sensibility, prudence, or even humility, but in reality, it's just fear in disguise. Thinking small doesn't mean you don't dream. It means you shrink your dreams to what you consider possible within your current situation. You convince yourself it's not so bad, that at least you have a job, that you're better off than others. But this way of thinking extinguishes your ambition, closes doors, and kills the spark that could propel you further. It's like carrying a cage in your mind. You don't need anyone else to limit you because you're the one doing it, repeating it day after day. This isn't for me. It's too much. I couldn't do it. Gradually, that internal dialogue becomes your destiny. Your outer life will never surpass the size of your inner vision. Imagine a child growing up watching their father sink into alcohol. They might believe they're destined for the same end, that their story is already written. But that is thinking small, accepting that the past determines the future. The truth is, everyone has the ability to break the cycle and project something bigger for themselves. It's not about fantasizing or chasing unrealistic illusions. It's about allowing yourself to imagine something bigger, more challenging, and more fulfilling. The mind always seeks coherence between what you believe is possible and what you do to build it. If you think small, you will act accordingly. But if you dare to think big, you'll start behaving in that new dimension. Remember, your thoughts are not neutral. They are commands. When you say "I can't," your body responds with paralysis. When you say "maybe I can," your focus shifts, your energy rises, and your decisions expand. Thinking big isn't arrogance, it's respect for your own potential. The Stoics understood this well. For them, humans are born with the purpose to develop, expand, and contribute. Rejecting that call is condemning yourself to a small life, filled with mediocre results that don't reflect who you truly are. Growth involves discomfort, but that discomfort is proof that you are entering a higher level of play, where the greatest rewards also lie. And if you've made it this far, it's because that seed already exists within you, the inner voice reminding you, "I can do more. I was made for more." Don't ignore it, strengthen it. Surround yourself with people who think big. Seek ideas that challenge your limits and choose environments that won't allow you to settle. Take a sheet of paper and write down your goals, but this time, aim for the huge ones, the ones that intimidate you, the ones that yesterday seemed impossible, the ones you don't yet know how to achieve. That's not madness, it's the first step toward change. When you commit to a big goal, Your mind begins to work in your favor. Resources appear, ideas emerge, connections arrive, because you stopped limiting yourself. Remember, you are not obligated to repeat the patterns you observed around you. Thinking big is breaking the old script and daring to write a new story. Poverty is not just the absence of money, it's the absence of vision. And true wealth doesn't start with numbers, it begins with mindset. Your life only expands to the level of what you dare to imagine. Every time you choose to dream bigger, you prove that your past does not dictate who you will be. Write in the comments, "My way of thinking will never be the same." That will be your declaration, the start of your new identity. Number 3, putting off what matters. Procrastination is a silent thief. It doesn't just delay tasks, it erodes your confidence, weakens your discipline, and steals the best years of your life. It deceives you into believing you're waiting for the perfect moment, when in reality all you're doing is running from effort, risk, and the discomfort that comes with growth. It's the illusion of having control when in truth you're giving it away. Every decision you postpone steals your time, energy, and opportunities. You say, "I'll start tomorrow," but that tomorrow never comes. Fear of failure disguises itself as prudence, sensibility, or logic. And while you wait, life doesn't pause for you. Debts grow, dreams cool, and frustration multiplies. Procrastination is like sitting in a car with the engine running. It consumes fuel, makes noise, but goes nowhere. It keeps you busy, but unproductive. It gives you momentary relief, but it produces no real change in your life. And here's a truth few accept. You don't need motivation to act. It's the other way around. Action comes first. Motivation follows. Only when you move, when you face discomfort and take the first step, does energy arise, confidence grow, and progress begin. This means giving up the fantasy of perfection. There is no ideal moment, only the decision to start. That is the difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck. The first decide quickly, adjust along the way, and keep going. The others freeze, waiting for certainties that will never come. Reflect. How many opportunities have you let slip away by postponing? How many projects never saw the light of day? How many relationships never began? How many results never materialized simply because you waited too long? The cost of waiting is always higher than the cost of trying. As Seneca taught, while we delay, life passes by. And that is exactly what procrastination does. It steals your days one after another, until one day you wake up and realize the years are gone and nothing has changed. From today on, do the opposite. Train your ability to decide. The more you develop that muscle, the fewer doubts you'll have and the less room you'll give procrastination. Make one important decision every day, even if it's small, even if it scares you. Every courageous choice sends a message to your mind. I am no longer a slave to fear. I am someone who acts. This is how you break the cycle. Procrastination keeps you poor, stuck in the same place. Decision, even imperfect, makes you richer because it opens doors you would never see if you continued waiting. Number 4, living without defined goals. The absence of goals is one of the most deceptive habits that condemns a person to poverty. Existing without direction is like boarding a ship without a rudder and letting the waves decide your destiny. You move, yes, but you don't progress. In the end, time and circumstance sweep your life away from what you truly dream of. No matter how hard you work or how great your talent is, if you don't have clear goals, your energy disperses, and your effort becomes mere exhaustion. A person without direction lives reacting to debts, problems, and other people's opinions, always putting out fires but never building something solid. In contrast, when you define a goal, everything changes. Your mind becomes alert, your decisions align, and your routine finds order. Suddenly, you know what to accept and what to reject. You can distinguish what is a waste of time from what truly matters. Here's the key. It's not about vague desires like I want more money or I want a better life. A real goal is concrete. It has a number, a deadline, and a purpose. It challenges you, pushes you out of your comfort zone, and compels you to grow. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is the inevitable price of evolution. A person without goals is like a building without a blueprint. Anything fits, any fear settles in, any excuse is justified. In contrast, a person with goals has clarity, focus, and direction. They wake up with purpose, face setbacks with strength, and become magnetic, because others can sense when someone carries an inner fire. Don't wait for life to decide for you. Take a piece of paper and write down how much you want to earn, by when, and what actions you will take every day to reach it. Read it each morning before checking your phone. Close your eyes and visualize the goal achieved. This simple exercise rekindles motivation when it begins to fade. People without goals drift aimlessly. People with goals design their own destiny. Your life cannot be left to chance. It must become a masterpiece. And every masterpiece begins with a clear decision. Number 5. Waiting for motivation to act. One of the most deceptive habits that keeps you trapped in poverty is believing that you need to feel inspired to take the first step. How many brilliant, talented men have wasted entire years waiting for the day they feel ready? They repeat phrases like, "Tomorrow I'll start when I feel like it," when the perfect moment arrives. But that day never comes. Relying solely on motivation is like depending on the weather to plant. If you only plant on sunny days, there will never be a harvest. Motivation is as volatile as the wind. Today it blows in your favor, tomorrow it disappears without warning. If your life depends on it, you will never know consistency. What truly sustains progress is not the emotion of the moment, but discipline, the habit of acting regardless of mood, laziness, or fear. Discipline is the invisible column that supports every one of your goals. Without it, your intelligence is wasted, your dreams fade, and your potential remains trapped in theory. Think about this. If today you were already the person you want to become, what decisions would you make without hesitation? What choices would be as automatic as brushing your teeth or tying your shoes? That is the real power of discipline, turning decisions into a part of your identity. Do not expect discipline to appear as a gift from the sky. It is built like physical strength, through daily repetition, constant effort, and small rituals that eventually become part of you. Maybe it's waking up earlier, turning off your phone before bed, writing down your goals each morning, or setting a reminder to push you to act. The size of the gesture doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. Every time you act, despite not feeling like it, you send a powerful message to your mind. I am in charge, not my excuses. Repeated enough times, this affirmation reprograms your life. Discipline becomes structure, structure becomes results, and results feed motivation again. The habit of waiting for inspiration has destroyed more dreams than any external failure. It seems logical, it seems sensible, but in reality, it is fear in disguise. Often, it's not just fear of failure, but also fear of success. Many avoid acting because they fear surpassing friends, family, or loved ones, and bearing the weight of rejection or exclusion. It's as if growing means betraying your roots, when in truth, it is the only way to honor them. This is where you must make a decision. Live small to fit into the world of others, or grow to expand your own. If you cling to the fear of making others uncomfortable, you will never discover what you are truly capable of. But when you choose to move forward despite fear, you demonstrate to yourself and to those around you that there is a bigger path. The truth is simple. Dreamers wait to feel something before acting. Achievers act until what they seek manifests. That is the dividing line between ordinary people and the unstoppable. And those who learn to move without depending on momentary motivation gain a freedom that can never be taken from them again. Number 6. Living surrounded by people who keep you small. One of the most silent yet destructive habits in life is staying in an environment with people who don't want to move forward. You may not even be aware, but the environment where you spend most of your time shapes your vision, conditions your decisions, and sets the standard for what you call normal. If the conversations you hear daily are full of complaints, excuses, and criticism toward those who dare to dream big, you end up absorbing that poison without noticing. The consequence is clear. You start hiding your goals to avoid appearing arrogant, lowering your standards to avoid discomfort, and accepting a life much smaller than the one you could actually build. Mental poverty is highly contagious. No one needs to teach you to be afraid or to doubt yourself. Constant exposure to these attitudes is enough. Spending time with people who justify mediocrity by blaming the government, the system, or luck dulls your ambition and clouds your clarity. Seneca already warned, the character of those around us leaves marks on us. This means that your environment not only influences you, it imprints values, habits, and even limitations from the people you are close to. Think of a brilliant student who starts hanging out with classmates who don't study and always get bad grades. No matter how hard he tries, the energy of that group exerts a counterforce that drags him down, and resisting that current becomes increasingly difficult. Similarly, if you surround yourself with people who ridicule those who dream big, you will soon end up believing that dreaming is absurd. And here's the harsh truth. Your destiny is deeply tied to your environment. If you stay close to people who mock effort and reject change, you will inevitably be pulled to their level, not because you cannot rise, but because that environment doesn't allow it. It's like trying to plant a seed in barren soil. No matter how good it is, it will never sprout. But if you change the soil, life bursts forth with strength. That's why you must protect your mind as if it were sacred. Carefully choose who has access to your time and thoughts. Surround yourself with those who inspire you, challenge you, and already live at the standards you want to reach. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. You may even feel out of place. But that discomfort is a sign that you are entering a higher level of life. When you surround yourself with greatness, what once seemed impossible becomes normal. Your eyes open to new opportunities, your standards rise, and suddenly living small is no longer acceptable. The right environment does not guarantee success, but the wrong environment guarantees failure. That is the choice before you. Remain tied to relationships that make you smaller, or create a circle that strengthens you. And if at this moment you feel like you don't have anyone around who inspires you, don't worry. Start by surrounding yourself with ideas. Read good books. Listen to voices that expand your vision. Consume content that challenges and elevates you. Temporary solitude is a very small price compared to the cost of staying around people who never go anywhere. In the end, the person who protects his mind is actually protecting his future. And that person will never be poor because he has already decided not to live below what he is capable of achieving. Number 7. Believing there is nothing more to learn. Stopping learning is like leaving a plant without water. At first it seems alive, but little by little it withers until it loses the strength to bloom. In a world that changes at an unrelenting pace, those who don't evolve end up falling behind. Not as a punishment of fate, but simply due to being outdated. It's not about accumulating diplomas to show off. It's about cultivating a mindset of constant growth, daring to ask yourself, what skill could bring me closer to the life I want? Or, what ignorance is costing me right now? Because where knowledge is lacking, bad decisions abound, and those bad decisions always come with interest. Imagine a worker who spends 20 years in the same job, performing exactly the same task. At first, it seems safe, but over time, the world advances. New technologies emerge, and suddenly he realizes he's been left behind with few options and little value in the job market. That is the perfect ground for poverty to grow, stopping your growth while everything else moves forward. In contrast, those open to continuous learning are never trapped. Think of someone who develops the ability to adapt, master new tools, and seek useful knowledge every year. While many complain about change, he progresses alongside it because he understands that each new skill is a door to new opportunities. Poverty doesn't always arise from a lack of resources. Often it stems from a lack of competencies. Knowing how to sell, communicate, save, invest, negotiate, organize, everything can be learned. What separates you from these abilities is not age or luck, but the habit of turning off curiosity and turning on distraction. Make learning a daily discipline, not an occasional exception. Start simply. 15 minutes of reading each day. But don't read just anything. Choose books that challenge your strongest beliefs, that expose what you still need to transform. Take advantage of idle times too. Listen to an educational audio in traffic, while cleaning, or during workouts. That way, time that was previously wasted becomes an investment. Also, set a bigger goal. Acquire a new skill each quarter. You don't need to be an expert, but enough to expand your toolbox and show yourself that you are always capable of learning. End each day with a powerful question. What did I learn today that I can apply tomorrow? This reflection keeps your mind alert and creates an endless cycle of growth. Curiosity plays a central role. Growth only resumes when you regain the courage to ask, to experiment, and to accept the risk of appearing a beginner again. Developing yourself requires trusting yourself enough to accept mistakes as a natural part of the path. Those who never fail, never learn. Those who never take risks, never advance. Curiosity is the spark that turns fear of failure into enthusiasm for discovery. That spark opens the door to escaping poverty. More than money, learning gives you something even greater. Each new skill boosts your self-esteem. You prove to yourself that you are capable. Your presence changes. It feels different in any room. Doors open, and others notice. Learning is the most direct path to becoming someone impossible to ignore. Ignorance costs time, energy, and years. Learning restores control. It is the key that transforms wasted effort into real progress. If you desire a more prosperous life, start by enriching your mind. Because everything that grows within you inevitably begins to flourish outside of you as well. Number 8. Externalizing responsibility. Think about how many movies, biographies, or success stories you've heard where the protagonist seemed destined to fail. People born into poverty, orphans, the rejected, forgotten workers. Almost all of them had one thing in common. At some point in their lives, they decided to stop blaming circumstances and take ownership of their own destiny. That turning point is what separates ordinary stories from extraordinary ones. Blaming the government, your boss, your parents, the city, or luck is giving away a piece of your power with every accusation. The one who blames stays stuck. The one who takes responsibility rises. Total responsibility. And note, this doesn't mean self-flagellation or repeating, "It's my fault." That's the mistake many make, confusing responsibility with submission, turning self-criticism into a mental whip, carrying old guilt, and believing that martyrdom is the same as ownership. That doesn't free you, it chains you. Anyone living under the logic of blame stays small, trapped in the past, and nourishes inner poverty. Genuine responsibility is different. It's not a burden, it's power. It's not saying, "The fault is mine." It's declaring, "The control is mine." It's recognizing that even if you don't like the harvest you've reaped, you can always plant differently starting today. This mindset frees you because it changes. Why is this happening to me? Into, what did I do or fail to do to get here? And what is under my control now? The right question opens paths. What small, though difficult, action can I take today to change my course? Sure, injustices exist. Sure, the system fails. But think, how many remain trapped in external narratives while others, even with fewer resources, manage to break free? The difference is not in the stage, it's in the response. Waiting for the world to change before you do is the most costly way to remain stuck. Freedom has always required courage, the courage to take the wheel of your own life. Here lies a truth few want to face. Poverty is not only an external condition, it's an adopted identity. As long as you perceive yourself as small, that identity drags everything down. Impulsive spending, limiting social circles, restrictive thoughts, procrastination, excuses, lack of learning, and blame spread in all directions. No strategy will succeed if your identity remains unchanged. Imagine a worker who loses his job and blames the company, the boss, or the economy, and another in the same situation decides to learn a new skill, offer a service, knock on doors. Who creates the future? The complainer or the one who takes ownership? The difference lies not in what they lost, but in how they chose to respond. This is the clearest and harshest lesson of Stoicism. Separate what is within your control from what isn't. Complaining about what is beyond your reach is losing twice. Focusing on what depends on you is the only path to victory. Take absolute ownership of what's in your hands. The breakthrough begins in front of the mirror. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become from today. This isn't poetry, it's combat. It's raising standards, sharpening habits, fortifying the mind, keeping your word, and rewriting the narrative. Money is merely a consequence. The root is character, vision, and discipline. Remember this. The world doesn't respect excuses, it responds to decisions. When your inner world changes, the outer world inevitably follows. It might not be immediate, it might not happen tomorrow, but it always accompanies. Because the world responds to the person who decides to stop blaming and start building. The day you take full responsibility will be your breaking point. The exact moment you stop being poor on the inside, even before you see a change in your bank account. New identity, new destiny. Own 100% and the world will begin to respond. Thank you for reading until the end. If this message helped you see things from a new perspective, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Here we continue together, reflecting, growing, and building inner strength.